Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting out war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk starting to collect Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. And today, we're going to talk about using the Chosen Axes, the Warhammer Underworlds warband, to start a Fyreslayers warband for Warcry. Now, the Chosen Axes are one of many of the older warbands for Warhammer Underworlds that now has a full rules edition in Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and that's thanks to the current Tome of Champions. The 2021 Tome of Champions has given us rules for a ton of these warbands, and it really does add a lot, allowing us to play these really sweet, cool models in the game. In this video, we're going to first talk about all the models we get inside the Chosen Axes box set, what they do for us, and then we'll look at some other units we can bring in to add in addition to the Chosen Axes, and finally give you a little sample 1000 Renown list at the end that you can use as some inspiration to create your own warband roster using the Chosen Axes as your starting point. And so, the Chosen Axes, well, they are led by Fuel Grimnir, who is an Auric Runefather. He's a pretty cool character, so 2-inch range on his melee weapon with 3 attacks, strength 5, 3/6 on his damage. He's going to pack out a decent amount of power. Toughness 4, 26 wounds as well. He is solidly survivable. But the only downside really for most Fyreslayers is that 3-inch movement. He is pretty slow. Now, he does have a cool ability as well that he can use as part of the Chosen Axes to use double. This can actually be used by any of the Chosen Axes, as they've all got the correct rune mark for it, so it's called the Chosen Kin. A fighter can use this ability only if they are within 6-inch of visible friendly Fuel Grimnir. So you do need Fuel to be visible to them. Note, he's visible to himself. Until the end of that fighter's activation, add 2 to the attack characteristic of the attack actions made by that fighter that have an axe rune mark. This would be all the Chosen Axes and the vast majority of your combat options for Fyreslayers in general. However, you can't use this with any of Fyreslayers. This is only for the Chosen Axes. Now, looking at them, we've then got Tefk Flamekeeper. He's got defensive 4 and 14 wounds. This is our Volkite character. In the units, he's 4 attacks at strength 3, 1/3 is pretty solid. Nice and cheap there at 90 points as well. We have Mad Mergrim as well, which is our other one of our Volkites. Same thing and literally the same profile again, which is pretty cool. So just 2 90-point decent little characters here. And then we have Vol Oricbane. 3 attacks of strength 4, 2/4 on his damage, and 4 and 14 wounds as well. Just a little bit more hitty than the other two. So a nice solid sort of core of some characters. There are some pretty good power in them all. In all honesty, they've got, defensive 4 on all 4 of them, which is really, really nice. And, decent wounds for small style characters. 14 wounds on with defense 4, I think, is really, really solid for a model in Warcry at 90 Renown. And so, what forces can we look to add in next? So, my first one is starting to think about what exactly we get with Fyreslayers. We've got a lot of sort of buff potential with the army. The army really likes to sort of power up its fighters in many different ways. Obviously, the Chosen Axes ability is going to give you extra attacks. So, we're looking at some other characters that we can bring in to sort of do those similar abilities. And so the first one I like to look at is the Battlesmith. Now, the Battlesmith has a cool ability, which is a triple. That being said, so it's not always going to be available to you, but it is a really solid one. So the triple is called Icon of Grimnir. It's only available to the Battlesmith, and until the end of the battle round, add half the value of this ability to the toughness characteristic of friendly visible fighters whilst they're within 6-inch of this fighter. So, a decent one of that, if it's 3s or 4s, is going to be adding 2 to your toughness, meaning most of your Fyreslayers around that Battlesmith will be 6. This is just great. Your Fyreslayers work really well in these tight, coordinated little bunches with all these little buff abilities working off these heroes. Speaking of heroes, I then look at the Auric Runesmiter. Now, he's got a cool double ability called Runic Empowerment, where he picks a visible friendly fighter within 3-inch of him, and until the end of the battle round, add the value of this ability to the strength characteristic of the next attack action made by that fighter. This could particularly work well on, say, something like the Chosen Axes. Being able to give them the value of this ability to their strength means you're going to turn most of them into 3 or 4 plus whatever you roll. So, on average, it could be like 6 or 7, meaning you're going to be getting those all-important 3s to a wound really importantly. So just another good sort of buff piece. This can work, once again, really well with like the Chosen Axe's own ability. This works first, so you're not using them on multiple characters. This is where the Fyreslayers really work well, because they can overlap all these abilities because they're not working on the same character. It's normally characters providing them to others, and then the own character or the own model can then use his own ability, which is really, really cool. Now, next up, speaking of characters that can really take advantage of getting all these benefits, the Grimwrath Berserker is a fantastic choice. He is just an absolute combat monster. So, Grimwrath Berserker, on his base, he's got 3 attacks, strength 5, 2/5 for his damage, and his toughness 4 with 25 wounds. He also has a cool quad ability called Battle Fury, where until the end of the battle round, add the value of this ability to the move characteristic of the fighter. In addition, this fighter makes a bonus move action. They can then make a bonus attack action. So he's just got all the stuff going for him, a really powerful piece to have. And if you can ever get that quad in a game, he will go absolute mayhem, carnage, wrecking your opponent. The last thing is Auric Hearthguard. I like them. I think just having a good little unit of them to be able to provide some nice fire support for your Fyreslayers is really useful, especially in such a combat-focused force. You really want to have those couple of little shooting units. So you've got the Hearthguard Berserker, or rather the Auric Hearthguard, which have a 3 to 15 inch range weapon with 2 shot, strength 4, 2/4, 4 toughness, 12 damage. Like, they are pretty solid. 2/4 is nice at range. And then they've also got their own cool little ability as well, which is called Encased in Molten Rock, where it's a double and you can use it until the end of this fighter's activation. The next time this fighter makes an attack action, you subtract half the value of this ability from the move characteristic of the target. So being able to pin your opponent in place with some shooting as well, while you then go get your combat monsters into combat with them, is really useful. And so here we have our little 1000 renown sample list of Fyreslayers for you. Now, we've got 955 renown in this force. Now we've gone for 3 leaders. We've got Fuel Grimnir of the Chosen Axes in there, along with a Battlesmith and the Runesmiter. This is going to give us the most buff potential for the army, projecting power out of these 3 characters to our fighters. And those fighters would be Tefk Flameblayer, Mad Mergrim, and Vol Urukbane, which are the 3 members of the Chosen Axes. And we've gone for an Auric Hearthguard in there as well. Now, you certainly could choose to potentially drop either Tefk or Mad Mergrim. I think they are the ones you would drop first, potentially taking some more powerful fighters in your force, potentially looking at some of the Hearthguard Berserker options with the Broad Axe or the Pole Axe. Potentially that would give you some cool additional fighters, or potentially even some more Auric Hearthguard. I don't think you'd take out a Vol Urukbane. He's pretty solid as he's a Hearthguard already, and the Auric Hearthguard is there. So that would probably be how I would change this up. You could potentially drop either the Battlesmith or the Runesmiter, or potentially even Fuel Grimnir to try and fit in that Grimwrath Berserker if that's something you want to fit inside the force. But this is a solid start to a Fyreslayers warband for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, let us know down in the comments below what you enjoyed about it. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little fine community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel financially, you can do so by joining either our Patreon or YouTube members. Our YouTube members will get access to some cool little emojis you can use during live streams, and also to comment on some of our posts and on our videos with, and you'll get your name with a special little icon on it as well on YouTube. Our Patreons and YouTube members will also get a name up in a special colour in our Discord server as well. And finally, you'll get a shout out from us as well on Patreon or YouTube members at the end of every video that you have helped support. Thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Angu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, and James Cater. And a special thanks to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Adriana Edwards, and Sean Scott. And a special thanks to, first of all, Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork in See Pictured here for the channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing background work for the channel. And that's it from us today. Please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down on the video below. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.